Hi all, welcome to my channel Agile Enthusiast. I am Mahendra Hotte and this is a comprehensive step-by-step guide with the trial cloud version of version 1. The screenshots might vary a bit here and there with the version of the instance of version 1 that you would be using. However, the functionality would remain the same. This being a comprehensive step-by-step guide, with the cloud version of version 1. I would be covering topics on which I will give a brief in the next slide. I'll be running the sessions using the screenshots and with a red box or an arrow mark for places where you are expected to click, and wherever I have a blue or a black box or a black arrow mark, it is meant for information. I have taken all care to follow this convention. However, it would have got misplaced in some slides, so kindly bear with me. I will deliberately keep my number of words per minute a bit on the lower side so that it is easier for everyone to follow. In case you feel that the speed of my voice is on the lower side, please feel free to use the speed settings of YouTube to speed up your player. As I mentioned earlier, this would be a step-by-step guide. So I would suggest that you follow along with me from the first tutorial and in parallel sign up for a free trial version and execute the steps in the cloud trial version. The learning will be faster. If you think that you know a particular topic, please feel free to jump to the tutorial of your interest. I've broken the series into 9 tutorials. In the first tutorial, I'll be talking about the project creation and the various options that we have under the menu bar in version 1. I'll be talking about the grid view and its customization. Understanding about this grid view upfront will make it easier for rest of the tutorials. Since this tutorial and the version 1 project that I will create is on the safe construct, in tutorial 2, I'll be talking about strategic themes, portfolio items as well, and how to create them. Additionally, I will show how WSJF, weighted shortest job first, is calculated at the portfolio level. We will see the portfolio Kanban and also how to add child portfolio items. Version 1 provides us the option of creating and tracking budget as well. We will see this in our budgeting tutorial, which would be tutorial number 3. Next, in the product backlog tutorial, which is tutorial number 4, I will show how to create a product backlog group using which we can group the product backlog items, create the product backlog items as well. I will end tutorial 4 by showing how to create an hierarchy of stories to the portfolio item. I'll be showing in 2 different ways. One is to create a portfolio item and then create a child backlog item. We will see what it means in tutorial 4. And you can even associate an existing backlog item to an existing portfolio item. We will see that as well. Once we have a product backlog item in place, I will show how to do the PI planning, program increment planning, by creating child projects under the parent. I will even talk about creating a separate schedule for each of the teams. I will talk about sprint scheduling and creating the tasks under the stories. I will show the configuration that can be done to do the level of tracking for the stories and defects. I will even show how to create the tests for the story or for the defect for that matter of fact. I will end this section by showing how to create dependencies between work items and generate a report on them. This will be tutorial 5, which is all about planning. Next, we will see how to use the storyboard and the task board. I will show about the burn down chats as well. To end this tutorial, I will show the member dashboards which will give the details at an individual level. That is tutorial number 6. Version 1 has a big list of reports which caters to the various levels of safe. We will see about this in tutorial number 7, which is all about reports. In tutorial number 8, I will show how to add a custom backlog item as per our needs. I will be showing how to add a custom task as well. We will see how we can work with impediments in version 1. There are two different ways. One by using a custom tag and other by creating an issue. I will show both the ways. In tutorial 9, which will be the last one, I will add a new team, assign stories to the team. I will also show how to use the team room, add new members to the team, and create member groups and add members to this group. We will see how to do capacity planning for the team members and validate it against the amount of work that they have planned for themselves. I will show how to activate a sprint and how to log efforts as well. We will see how to complete and close the task and the difference between both of them. There is a slight difference between completing a task and closing a task. I will show that. We will see the stand-up dashboard as well. I will show how to close the sprints and do the retrospectives. And we will briefly touch upon the power of reports and how we can leverage on them in the various views that are available. Well, I've tried my best to sequence the tutorials in the best logical way that I could think of. In case certain aspects are not clear in the earlier or the starting tutorials, be rest assured that if you follow me along till the end of tutorial 9, you will be an expert in version 1. Well, there's a lot to cover. Let's get started. Sign up for a trial version of version 1 at the website of version 1. Use this checkbox. Safe. Check effort tracking as well. First, let us get ourselves familiarized with the menu items that are available and what to expect under each one of them. I will talk about the major ones and the ones which I feel are a bit of too much for this series, I will omit. This is the portfolio menu. Under this, we have planning, where we can view portfolio tree and thereby create a portfolio item. Roadmaps, budgets, and strategic themes. In the tutorial 2, I will show how to create a portfolio item and strategic themes and how they are related. We will also allocate budget theme wise. I will talk about budgeting in tutorial 3. Under tracking, you will find the portfolio Kanban board. We will see more of all of this in tutorial 2 and 3. Under the product menu, you have planning and input. Under planning, you have backlog. This is where you will have your product backlog. You can create product backlog items by clicking the plus mark on the sidebar. You can create a product backlog group, which will enable you to group the stories based on the groups. The groups can be security, performance, etc. etc. We will see more about product backlog and groups in tutorial number 4. Under the planning section, you have got objectives. You can create objectives for the teams as well. In the input section, the major feature here is issues. Here you can see the list of issues and even add a new issue. An issue is an impediment in agile team. We will see how to handle issues or impediments in tutorial number 8. In the PI planning menu, PI is program increment. In the PI planning menu, you have planning and tracking. In the planning section, you can do the PI scheduling and team scheduling. We will see a lot of it in tutorial number 5. In the team menu, we have 4 sections: sprint planning, sprint tracking, review, and team rooms. In sprint planning section, we have sprint scheduling, where you can schedule the sprints. You can create multiple sprints, for example, sprint 1 to sprint 5, and keep it created and have the backlog items parked in those sprints as sprint backlog. In the detailed planning, you will get a grid view of a particular sprint and plan that sprint in the terms of breaking the story into tasks and estimating the tasks. In the member planning section, you can plan for the team members of a particular team and at a sprint level. Just keep in mind that under this section, sprint planning, we will get another option known as member capacity when we enable it. I will be talking about member capacity in tutorial number 9. Just bear in mind that you will have another option as member capacity under this section when we enable it. Finally, we have issues. I did briefly mention about issues. Issues is something which is known as impediments, which the team members encounter during a sprint period. In the tracking section, the sprint tracking section, we have all the functionality which enables us to track, as the name suggests. We have detailed tracking. You can see all the open work for the particular sprint in a grid view here. Under member tracking, you can see all the tasks or test cases for a particular member of that particular sprint. Storyboard is a visual representation of the status that the work items are in for that particular sprint. Task board is a visual representation again of the story and the tasks associated with those stories and the status of the tasks in that particular sprint. We have the test board, which is a visual representation of the test cases of that particular sprint and the status of those test cases. In the review section, we can close the sprint and move the work items at the end of the sprint. We will see more about closing the sprint in tutorial number 9. And we have retrospectives. Here you get to do the retrospective for the particular sprint. Finally, we have the team room. Here you can create team rooms so that it is easier for the team members to have all the required information in one screen. Mousing over this particular star symbol pulls out, which gives us the option to do the necessary configuration. It has the following sections: planning level, and field admin. Let me zoom a bit. Planning level and field admin. This is an important section which we will need, where we will configure the planning levels. We'll explain about this in the subsequent slides. Here under member admin, you can create and manage the team members. Click the planning level. On clicking the planning level, the pop-up which we saw in the previous screen is laid out here as shown. Let me zoom again. Here the pop-up is laid out. This is where all the various planning and configurations are done. I will not go through each one of them, but will take you through the major ones which will be required in this series and which will help you get your teams up and running. I will leave the rest of them for you to explore. On clicking planning level, this is what you will see. This is where all the planning levels happen in version 1. We will see more about planning in tutorial 5. Additionally, just remember this tree structure. Let me zoom a bit. Just remember this tree structure. Here on the slide, where it shows that program level ART, program level Agile Release Train, PI1, project team Lions, project team Tigers, etc. I will be referring to these few slides down the line. On clicking list types, let me zoom again. On clicking list types, you will get this pop down. I will touch upon the three: backlog, task, and backlog group. Under backlog, we can add custom backlog item. We will see how to do it in tutorial number 8. Under task, we can add custom tags. Again, we'll see this in tutorial number 8. Under backlog group, we can create a new backlog group, which we'll see in tutorial number 4. On clicking teams, you can add and manage teams. We will see about adding and managing teams in tutorial number 9. On clicking members, you get this drop down, and under members, as shown by the black arrow, under members and under this members, you can add and manage team members. We will see more of this in tutorial number 9. You can navigate out of the screen by clicking the arrow mark, which says back to the main when you mouse over it. It says back to main when you mouse over it. Let me zoom. It says back to main when you mouse over it. I will quickly tell about the grid view. We will see this grid view in many places in version 1. Hence, I want to cover the basics of this grid view, which you can apply wherever you encounter such a grid view. I'm using the product backlog to explain it. I'm using this section and the product backlog to explain it. The planning level is very important. You will probably need to keep on changing the planning level as per your need. You will see more of this in this entire series. For now, please understand that all the information present on the screen depends on the planning level that you choose. So this is where you choose the planning level. Clicking on the planning level, it pulls this particular drop down. On clicking planning level and the planning tree, on clicking planning level and the planning tree, you are presented with the various planning levels that you would have created. This is the same tree which I was mentioning a couple of slides ago. I did mention program level ART, PI1, project team Lions, project team Tigers. This is what is the tree that I was telling about. For you to do any operation with team Lions, I have created a team known as Lions, calling it as project team Lions. For you to do any operation with team Lions, be it to see the backlog or do the planning for the team Lions or do the tracking for team Lions, or for that matter of fact, any operation pertaining to the Lions, you need to change the tree to Lions and then only you get the relevant data for that particular team. What I just mentioned would be a bit confusing at this moment, but please bear with me and carry along. You will see more of it and will be able to understand better. Just bear in mind that choosing or changing to the right planning level is extremely important to get the relevant information presented on the screen. Here, under My Views, you can configure the views that you need for a particular planning level. I'm not getting into the details of this in the interest of time. However, once you play around with this a bit, you will get a hang of it. You can create a new view and use it. Sorry about that. I was talking about the views. Pulling down this arrow mark, pulling down this particular arrow mark, you get this pop down where you can customize the columns. Here it says customize. You can customize the columns you are seeing. You can change or customize the order of the columns. You can customize the order of the columns. You can just drag and move them up and down. You can choose whether a particular column is read only or can be editable. Let me zoom a bit. If this particular checkbox is enabled, then this particular column will be editable. Otherwise, it will be just read only. We will use this a lot in the entire series. On pulling the arrow on a particular line item, I have chosen this particular line item, user story 3. Let me zoom a bit again. This particular line item, user story 3. On pulling the arrow on this particular line item, you will be presented with options pertaining to that item. Knowing this operation upfront will be handy. There are various operations that you can do in this section. You can edit, add task, add test, block, quite a bit that you can do here. Additionally, it is good to know this operation as well. In case you edit any particular editable field, the save button automatically gets enabled from where you can save. On mousing over the reports, let me zoom again. On mousing over the reports, you will get a pop down. It will specifically show the reports which are relevant to this particular screen. Only those reports which are relevant to this particular screen are listed here. This is a very useful functionality. This pop down will have all the reports, all the relevant reports in that particular screen that you are on. You will see different set of reports listed on the detailed tracking screen. That is the benefit of this. You can navigate and edit a particular item from here itself. Let me zoom again. By mousing over and clicking, there is still a lot more that you can do in a grid view. Hence, I thought that I should spend some time explaining a few key functionalities upfront. You can play around and figure out what else can be achieved here. Well, this brings us to the end of tutorial 1. I know quite a bit of concepts that I mentioned would not be clear since I'm explaining it on the data that I've already created. Nevertheless, follow me along till the end of tutorial 9. Most of the concepts would be clear. Let us meet in tutorial number 2, where I will talk about strategic themes, portfolio items, and child portfolio item. Thank you.